Hi, this is Hanson, and you're listening to the second part of a podcast Anthony and I had recorded back in the May of 2020. This was during the lockdown of the coronavirus when everything first started, and it felt very new. We were just chilling inside and having some drinks, talking about anything that came to mind. Hope you enjoyed this conversation. I'll be finishing the full version soon. Enjoy.
Do you want more?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Opa! There we
Oh.
Yeah, no, the way I feel about governments like that is to me at least, I'm not a complete purist about freedom. I would not prefer, a government that acts in the interests of the people, but we don't have control over, versus a government that we do have control over, or at least in theory, but it doesn't act in the interest of the people. I prefer the former. For me, all that matters is that the government is acting in the interest of the people. And if it is, democracy is not like my guiding principle.
Yeah.
A complete one, like, singular dictatorship by one man that absolutely acts, in favor of the people. I think some people would still take opposition to that on principle, but I definitely wouldn't.
I think that's impossible. I think.
I'm not saying it's possible, or that this is theoretical.
Okay.
But if there was just one man and he
But
could
the-
act in our interests, I don't have an opposition.
You're
with that.
kind of
Theoretical.
alluding to your perception, your take on utopia,
Sure.
because the communism was also a take on utopia.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm not. Again, I don't think that this is a. I don't really mean it at that extreme.
Yes.
Right. I just mean I'm talking. Really, when we talk about real politics, we're obviously talking on a much smaller scale. I just mean that if our government we had less control over it, but it acted more in favor of the people, I would be okay with that exchange.
Yeah. I think so. I think the founding fathers of America set the Constitution really well.
It is,
And
yes.
in consequence, that's why America is a superpower right now, because they were so brilliant. They were geniuses, because they understood the loss of human nature on an individual level and also on a group level. So Robert Greene has that book, Loss of Human Nature, and it describes the pitfalls, the shortcomings, the traps that we all fall into, just as if you were in the power of becoming this ultimate supreme leader, like Kim Jong-un, and you would want to build a utopia, but the nature of having that much power and control corrupts you, or maybe it might not even corrupt you. It's just like, to your citizens, you're like, can't you see I'm trying to do this, you idiots? But I have to do this because you guys are too dumb for me. Like, that will eventually you'll lead to that thought. And was I saying this? I think I was saying this to you, right? It's so easy to criticize and find what's wrong than find a solution. And a lot of people think they see through a lot of the mistakes and errors of whichever president or leader, and they think you're a piece of shit, but they never think if they were in their position, how would they do, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I do like, obviously, that our government has less power than the government has proportionally in China or Russia. Not that I'm a fan of Zuckerberg or Bezos or these people, but it is good that we have competing forces for control in our country.
Yeah.
Even if they are competing with, like, mega corporations and things like that.
Yeah.
There is power is still divided. It's not centralized like it is there, which is a good thing, of course.
Yeah. I'm a fan of Bezos. I don't see what's wrong.
You're a fan of Bezos?
I'm not a fan, but I'm not, like, against Bezos.
You're not against the existence of people like Bezos?
No, like, you mean billionaires?
Yeah, billionaires.
Oh, so I actually really want to talk to you about this,
Yeah.
because I've been watching a lot of economics videos, and I've been reading a lot of, not a lot, but I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
like, that's like the self-financing book 101. Let me just take it away. I don't call myself an economist.
Yeah.
Or knowledgeable in finance or economics, but I think this whole Bezos thing and people portraying billionaires as bad. Come on, man! It's been around. No nobility, aristocracy.
Okay, but I'll say something about aristocracy. I think I would prefer, I think, an aristocracy than to have the hyper-capitalism we have now. An aristocracy is very different, though, than when we're talking about China or Russia. An aristocracy is generational. It's a generation of people who are tied
Yes.
to this land. They are raised generally with an obligation to the people of their land. I think an aristocracy is when we talk about the reliability, communism fails or capitalism fails in these countries. Aristocracy lasted for centuries and centuries.
Yes.
And things improved over that time, of course.
But how is Jeff Bezos? How come he doesn't fall into? Is it because he's self-made? He made his own worth. Doesn't come from a generational wealth.
I guess with Bezos, it's more of a thing of scale. I think for me, that one man can have that much. Because I think I was telling you about this. You look at what Bezos did. What did Bezos do? Well, he created a platform for people to be able to deliver products to their house, like a website. I think originally is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't the first person to design that. There were several companies before him that did a
Correct.
similar thing. And maybe what he did is he innovated in some small way. He had the best UI. He had a faster shipping time or some way. He innovated in some way. But what Amazon became, you look at really what Amazon is. It relies on the internet. It relies on our shipping systems, all of this.
Yeah.
Everything that Amazon is relying on is our entire economy in the world up until his existence.
Yeah.
So does he deserve to get profit from everything that went into Amazon becoming what it was? Now, I think it's very tough to actually tax billionaires hard to do this. I'm not talking about politics or economics. I'm talking about morality. I don't think it's morally right that people like him exist. I don't think that he is entitled to what he has. It's a different question of how you can actually go about, because if you want to stop him from moving his money offshore, you have to have a very different economy where people can't move their money freely. You're talking about a lot less freedom in society. To stop people like Bezos existing is very difficult without taking a lot of freedom out of society. But I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about morality.
Okay.
And should people like him exist?
Wait, so you're not talking about offshore banking?
I'm saying that that's what he does, right? He doesn't pay any taxes, but
Okay. Here's something that I really looked into. I support Jeff Bezos, not for any way for his character. I don't support Bill Gates. That's another thing. But so I'm not a fan of Bill Gates.
You can tell me about that after. I don't know enough.
But Jeff Bezos, I support him because he's allowed to exist. Because it gives you something to strive for, that you can actually shoot for the stars.
So you believe in the American dream?
Yeah, I believe in that, and I think what he's doing, like, I know there's all these 1% Occupy Wall Street motherfuckers saying tax the rich, and if you're complaining about that, then you're complaining about the democracy, the capitalism, the American dream, because offshore banking, to a lot of people, they think is very shady. They think about laundering money. No, it's completely legit. It's written in the laws as tax incentives to promote this kind of thing. Really, like, those cruise lines, they have their HQ in like some island, Caribbean islands, for tax exemptions and havens. And like United States aren't saying no, it's illegal. They're like,
well, is whether it's legal or not the justification for it morally?
Yes, there is.
Really?
There is. Yes.
What is the moral justification?
Because people tend to confuse the net worth or ownership of Jeff Bezos.
Right, of course. Yeah, I know. It's not
as personal wealth, but it's not.
No, I know. I understand exactly what you mean.
The money's held in the company, and you can't liquidize that into cash. And when you're dealing with that amount of figures, especially in the stocks, a presumed figure. It's what people think it's worth.
Sure, but still, in terms of the real world, he still is able to acquire more and continue to grow. He can acquire something like a newspaper. I think he owns the Atlantic.
Yeah. So I'm talking about like George Soros kind of shit.
Yes, I'm talking about George Soros. Do you want these people to be able to think about how much money this guy made when? Do you know about how he made money on the pound? On the pound crashing in the 90s, betting against the pound.
No.
The way these people manipulate, we have to look it up to really get the full explanation of it. But again, do you want these kind of people being able to control politics, control the direction of your nation? Again, we're not talking about how it's very difficult to actually stop. Believe me, I'm Russian. I know all about how bad it is when they try to go after rich people, and they start coming after people with engineering degrees too. Don't worry, I know.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to actually control a system in a way without totally going haywire.
Yes.
But I don't think it's moral that someone that rich exists.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, from your same reason you don't feel like it's moral, I feel like it's more moral because Jeff Bezos, he made this wealth. He came from middle class or whatever, right? A humble background compared to all the aristocracy, people born in a billionaire. That's when you had, in the beginning of industrialization in America, they had the Heidelberg Group, who actually was like Rothschild has been in there ever since he was back then until he died, right?
I'm definitely not talking about the Rothschilds when I say aristocracy. I'm talking on a smaller scale. Obviously, I don't.
Yeah.
I would put the Rothschilds at the same camp as Bezos for my morals.
But Bezos came from a humble background.
Yes.
I'm saying like people who are born into billions of dollars, they can't. It's hard for them to relate to people. Royal families, it's hard for them to relate to commoners. So then they become supportive of ideas such as eugenics.
Yeah.
Things that are kind of unethical on a mass scale. Because if you look at it, they're not dumb. They support eugenics because it's very logical, right? So I think more the new rich, the new money, I think I support that idea because it ties the gap between that elitist aristocracy to the common people. Yeah, they're the gatekeepers.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because it's Chinese. There's a lot of conflict in there in China, right? Because there's old rich and new rich. I've had some friends who told me about it. Yeah. Some of their family were old rich, and then it's just totally different between these two people. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
and we want to think, we want to get caught up in the corruption with power or something like that. A lot of people don't know that if it's presented to you and you have it, you would probably be a shady person. Just as Jordan Peterson talked about, like being a Nazi. Right?
Yeah, of course.
Like people in Nazi youth, it's like you're indoctrinated. There's so much propaganda. That's your motherland. Like you would probably support the Nazi Party if you were German, especially with the economic collapse.
Yeah, of course. No, I don't disagree at all.
Yeah. So this is a, okay, here's the nice guys thing, right? So talking about nice guys, it's like they think they're so nice.
People who think they wouldn't do those things.
Yeah, they wouldn't do those things.
I'll be the first to say I'd be the best at doing all that. I'd be a great guard. I'd be a great concentration camp guard. I'd never be late.
Yeah.
On time every day with my dart and my coffee. I don't come late to work, man. I wouldn't come late to any job.
It's a fulfilling job. Telling people what to do. It's more of a mentorship program.
Oh my god.
Camp counselor.
Camp counselor. Holy shit. Man.
But so nice guys.
Go ahead. I'll tell you after.
They don't get girls, and they're like, oh, we're gonna be so nice to them. We'll treat them like queens. Spoil them and shit. They're gonna have my love forever, right? I'm saying this because I think I was kind of a nice guy in high school, or even up until university. Because you get no girls. That's why nice guys come last, right? And it wasn't until I developed some sex appeal in like third year.
Third year?
Yeah, third year. I had no sex appeal up until second year, man.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I don't know you back then, so I'm not going to say anything, I guess. I don't know you, but...
Yeah, well, I'm being honest, Frank, on myself. And I think I haven't really reached my sex appeal potential yet. Or the peak of it. Still working on a lot of things. But now that I do, it's like when there's a girl that's really trying to pursue you more than you want to pursue her, and also maybe more than a girl at a time, you begin like thinking of wanting to cheat and doing these things where I thought it before, like, oh, I'm gonna give you all my love, like, no, bro, you give me this option.
Of course.
So people need to hear this.
Right, of course. There's no morality in saying, oh, I would never do that, and you never had the opportunity.
Yeah.
Of course.
People don't know the depth of their morality, man.
Yes,
it's very shallow.
It actually has to be tested.
Yeah.
It has to be tested, otherwise you're just talking.
Yeah, but this thing is, I want to clarify that I don't hoe around. I don't like hoeing around. I tried hoeing around. I felt like a hoe and very unpleasant. Because I really like, I don't have too many friends. And I don't think I had a long-term relationship yet.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't had one. Because, well, I think I do a lot of crazy shit, first of all.
Yeah.
And stability is a big thing where women look for.
Yes.
And I don't have that.
Yeah.
So I don't have many friends either, but I prefer having close friends over quantity, right? Because there's so much depth that you go into with quantity wise, you just brushing people's surface.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I exactly feel the same.
It's like the amount of depth you can get out of someone can be mind-blowingly spiritual.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
When you have a friend you've had for like 10 years, I have some friends like that, a few of them.
Yeah.
And it's like meeting a new person every single year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, when you
grow
really, together.
It's crazy. Like my good friend, Siddiq, the one I tell you about, the guy who's Sinan's audio engineer.
Yeah.
That guy. It's crazy what this guy's been through in his life. You know what I mean? I've been there the whole way. It's unbelievable.
Nice. Oh, so speaking about spiritual shit, what did you want to say about synchronicity?
Synchronicity.
The Secret.
The Secret. That documentary. Visualization is a powerful tool. I definitely grew up constantly, like when I was in the blocks, like you stand in the blocks before you dive in the pool to race.
Yeah.
And
I thought you meant the Soviet blocks.
No. I haven't been on those blocks. Not in a while. No, like when you stand on the block that you dive from.
Yeah.
Well, you basically go and you line up behind when you swim competitive swimming. This is what this is about. I'd say you probably get behind to your race maybe about 3 or 4 races before you have to go. And so you sit there or stand there for about 10 minutes, and no one really comes to talk to you because everyone's usually at their own races. Usually you have your headphones in, or you just sit there with your cap, and you have like 10 minutes or so really just to yourself usually, and you're just focusing about your race, and you're just visualizing usually. Especially when you get up on the blocks, it's complete silence at least to yourself. You have your cap on. And visualization is very powerful. There's like a stark difference I notice when I really focus on the race before I do it, and when I don't visualize, I just like dive in and just go. Yeah. Visualization is very powerful.
I think visualization is like the same way you physically warm up, it's mentally warm up.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And it's important to not just like visualize finishing the race with the time. You're not supposed to just visualize, at least in my view, the success or the beating the time. The way I visualize,
I think that's the last thing you do.
That's
the worst thing.
I don't even visualize that at all.
Yeah.
I actually visualize diving in, and I actually visualize the whole lap.
Yeah.
I actually literally focus on the whole lap, which is literally, if you know swimming, you're literally just doing the same thing. It's going left arm, right arm, left arm, right arm.
Yeah.
And you're just visualizing that, and then you're visualizing the turn, and you're visualizing flip,
the subtle details,
kick, and then you go kick, kick, kick. You're literally just visualizing like every detail of the race. That's what it really is.
Exactly. I absolutely agree. It's like trying to be so smooth. You're trying to think
exactly.
You're in a movie, and this guy, like, they're filming a movie about you, how great of a swimmer you are.
Yeah.
athlete you are because you're making every move to perfection, right? Like German engineering shit.
Yeah.
Because for my weightlifting competition, that's exactly how I felt. I love
weightlifting is the best for this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Weightlifting is absolutely the best.
Oh, let me tell you, when you get into weightlifting enough, you probably have experiences with sport. It's like getting to this flow state, because weightlifting is it's very fast burst.
Yeah.
So it's a huge, intense amount of concentration, and it feels out of body at times. It feels like you're not in your head, you're floating in the universe. The moment you grab on the bar, you take that breath in before you lift. That's when my head snaps into this universe. It does. Charles Poliquin, who I don't know if you know.
I know him.
Yeah, so he talked about how his weightlifting athletes, you can see it in their eyes, how they're not there. You look at them, they're not there anymore. So I feel the same way.
Yeah, some people they don't get when I try and show them an Olympic lift or something like that. They don't get why it's sick as fuck. It's really impressive.
Look, people who don't understand it's one thing that it takes a while to develop an eye for technique, but it's really more about emotion and mental dominance.
Yes.
It's like, how confident is this person? And for me, I think I have ADHD because I'm very energetic and jittery all the time. I can't learn well in class ever since grade school. And weightlifting and sports and exercising is a discipline that I learned how to control my attention. Yeah, so I think it's super useful. But you were talking about synchronicity, going back. I had some spooky ass stories about synchronicity, especially the time following my ayahuasca experience, because you become so attuned to your surroundings. You become supremely empathetic to a point I was telepathic.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not shitting you. Like when I got back from Peru, I went to forget which mall. I think it was Yorkdale Mall to run some errands when I got back, and I'm just walking by people. I don't even have to look at them. I get a glimpse of them in my peripheral, and I know I can feel what they're feeling. It's you know how you feel, right? Like you sometimes feel stressed or anxious and whatnot, but it was like there's me, and then on the other side it's them. They're so I was so sensitive to that. I still am, but not as sensitive back then, and it made me realize we have so many different forms of intelligence and intuition and awareness that if you don't practice, just like any sports or athletics, you're not going to be sharp in. But that really changed my perspective from school, where the markers of success are grades or co-ops, and then markers of intelligence are from grades or whatever. But this empathy and connection to human, I think, is one of, it's timeless. It's forever one of the most valuable skills since the beginning of human. Yeah. So synchronicity is kind of like attunement to the world, the real world
consciousness.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
Well, let's get some Nancasters.
Some Lancaster?
Continue eating my Nancasters, man.
I think I'm good for now.
Fill the mic up with something, man.
I'm going to tell my concrete story.
Please.
All right. So this is probably the most difficult job we ever had. It was a countertop that was 6 feet by 6 feet and 2 inches thick. And now, of course, we fill out the core of the countertop with foam, so it's not entirely solid concrete, but it still weighs an unimaginable amount. It's unbelievably heavy. And we had to push it around this little, very rich person's backyard, around all their fancy shrubbery and their statues and all that, to their back, to the back of their backyard. On a tiny little cart about 1 foot by 1 foot with 4 wheels that were barely holding on. And it was myself and Allah, the woman's husband, holding all that just between two of us. So basically the way we were doing it is I was on one side of the slab, is what it really was, and he was on the other side. And every time we felt like it was going like a little bit too much my way, we're like, lift, because we would get flattened underneath it, right? If it falls on you, you're dead, basically. Like, basically, it's so heavy. And we also had to carry it down steps, which was one of the hardest things of all time. We basically put a second cart at the bottom of the 3. It was only 3 steps, or like 2 steps. But we put a second one there, and we had to like tilt and kind of lift it to get it on there. Unbelievable. Like, I can't believe no one got flattened by that thing. Oh my god.
Fuck.
And a lot of jobs were like that. There were some fireplaces we had to carry in upstairs, and it was like, man, that shit's heavy.
Do you have a trolley?
There were trolleys. I mean, yeah, but then you have to like carry it upstairs or something. You know what I mean? You have to move it upstairs, or you have to move it around a corner that something doesn't. There's still challenges you come across. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very hard still.
But then you're kind of like serving to upper middle or upper class households, right?
Oh yeah, of course,
there's
always.
enough space.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough work.
So what kind of neighborhoods were you in?
Oh, we delivered all across the GTA. I'm not just GTA. We delivered across Ontario.
Okay.
That one trip that day, that was like the last day with her. I actually did that one as a solid, basically, because I already was done working. I just said I'd do this one day. And we drove like 2 hours to London, I think, or something, for delivering that enormous like 6 foot by 6 foot thing.
Wow.
Jesus Christ, that thing was insane.
Yeah.
It was, because it was so wide, I don't think we could get it, like we couldn't lay it down flat in her trailer. So we had to put it vertically. Her trailer basically had like a big vertical support you could tie things to. And we were scared the whole drive that it would just fall off.
Oh yeah, something that heavy.
Oh my god, it would probably kill the car behind us.
Yeah,
it would
Final Destination shit.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
Imagine. Oh, I'd peace out at that point. If that's how that thing coming towards me and I'm in the car, I'm like, well, that's it for me.
I don't think ratchet straps can.
No, like a bunch of alligator clips and shit. No, it was fucking rough.
Man, so what do you want to do? Because you work for McLaren.
Yes. I actually need to send them an email to ask for a job.
Okay.
For the fall.
So you see yourself in the automotive for...
No, I don't see myself in that. That was my first job. I mean, I don't know what I see myself still yet doing for a career.
I'm saying, man, you and we start our own business.
I know.
Like this contracting kind of stuff where, like the concrete thing, because it's like, I think the barrier to entry isn't that competitive or hard. Definitely and the work is, I think, is very fulfilling when you're running your own business. You hustle for your own money.
Yes.
Because have you had a job that you hustled for your own money yet?
What do you mean by that?
Like you decide what you make.
I guess not. Not really, no.
Oh man, Anthony, you would love this shit, man.
Well, explain what you mean. I don't get what you mean, really.
So, in tree planting, it's piecework. You get paid by every tree you put in.
Right.
You decide how much.
Oh, I see.
Because I was working in my office jobs is wage, salary, and work with my friend packing stuff, and it's wage. Like, there's no incentive.
You're right. Yeah, I've only worked wage before.
Yeah, there's no incentive for me to push myself to increase productivity or be invested in the work I do if I'm just getting paid this amount.
By wage, yes.
There's no incentive. But when you start doing your own company and you're chasing clients and they have money for you, the more work you do, the faster you do it, the more money you can make. That shit gets you fucking hungry. And that's fulfillment more than just for what you want to do or what you're passionate about. That's actually a part of fulfillment.
I completely agree. I absolutely need to own a business at some point in my life. It's literally in my blood. My family has always been grinding and hustling through business. just working at 9 to 5, this is not what I'm going to be doing.
My nigga, we graduate at the same time. You know that? So.
There you go.
We
gotta get the idea of what we're doing. We gotta do it.
Yeah, look, and what I learned when I was.
I'm 100% serious, by the way. I'm not just saying.
I'm serious too.
Good.
I'm 100% serious. I'm not even playing one bit. Cause I can't do no office job, man.
It's brutal.
Like before I did it because I was naive. I was always during co-op. I was like, oh, this won't be different. This one would be better. Mm-hmm. By the third one, it's like third time's the charm, right?
But at the same time, as someone who's like never had money, like never really had, I don't have a car, right? Like I don't have money. I have money. Exactly. We never have money. Yeah. We don't come from money.
Yeah.
So it's just so like, that's the thing. I get we've had this conversation the other day. Of course, if you take the 9 to 5, it's going to be very easy to get sucked into it and to be stuck there forever. Yeah. But it's really tempting to at least take the 9 to 5 at the start, just to like own a car, you know, have at least a nice place to live at. You know what I mean? For like a year or two. It's tough to like do what we're saying right now, which is immediately leave school and go right into entrepreneurship.
Nope, I think it's easy. Why?
Let's hear it.
Why? Because you think of these financial things, the cost to start. Yeah. You tell a bank that, they'll give you loans.
We'll give you loans.
They'll give you loans. It's not that hard, and especially when you're buying a car and you're financing.
Yeah, I know. We can get loans, of course. We can start something. But.
Yeah, and
I'm willing to take the risk. We just got to get the idea and do it.
Yeah. So another thing.
I wish we were doing our FYDP together, man. Then we could actually put this pen to paper and actually make something. If we were doing FYDP together, that would have been a good opportunity.
It's still not too late to submit your withdrawal.
Withdraw from the term right now.
No, don't do that.
No, I'm not doing that right now. No, I've already done some
shit. Yeah, going back to saying when I was working in China for this teaching company, it was a small business, and we had really rich kids. Like, fuck me rich. Like I would have never tasted that if it weren't for that job. It made me realize as a small business, you really have to be smart. You really have to have a demographic. Don't be making money off of college students. Make money off people who have money, just like your concrete business.
Of course, yeah.
You do this thing where people are willing to pay for it and pay a good amount of money because they have money. Mm-hmm. Don't cater for broke ass motherfuckers like us. Yeah. I don't want to spend money.
Yeah, I
know. Right? Yeah. You gotta chase it's always you have to chase the broke people around too much. It's not even worth their time anymore.
Yes. That's actually, so I told you my friend, he works basically full time as an audio engineer. He's been doing it for a while and he makes good money. There was one time he had like he was showing me like fucking racks on him. It was nice. It was nice.
Yeah.
And he makes money, but the problem is when you work as an audio engineer, especially in Saga, your clients are Saga mans.
Yeah.
Do you know how much chasing he has to do for money to get Saga mans to pay up?
Yeah.
It is, you know what I mean? You know the kind of people who want to like get this guy to mix their mixtape. You know what I mean? Like these people you have to fucking chase. And there were literally like months where he was talking to me and he's like, bro, it's so fucking hard to get these degenerates to pay up. Like, because you know what it's like, man. Of course, it's nice.
Yeah.
You know, when you're dealing with people who actually pay up.
But bro, I'm offering you exposure.
Exposure, fuck that, man. You gotta get people who actually pay.
Yeah, for real. I think, like, man, the concrete thing. What do? You drop some AutoCAD for it, or some shit. Right?
You think we did AutoCAD? You think we even made a drawing?
We do another,
That's what I put on my resume. That we made drawings for those things. Fuck no. The desk you want to make, it's these dimensions.
Yeah.
We make it.
Yeah.
There was no drawing.
We're doing enough that you know what you're doing.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. You just made things. That was the best part. The best part about that was not having to deal with drawings and engineering. Yes. It was literally just make it, and it's so refreshing. So for a desk that's anything thicker than an inch and a half. So for 1 inch we don't do this, but for inch and a half or thicker, we put foam in. Right, so we want basically a minimum thickness of 1 inch. So for inch and a half, we put half-inch foam in.
Okay.
And we put foam in to make the thing lighter.
Okay.
Right? But you don't want, let's say you have a desk the size of yours there.
Yeah.
For this one, maybe fine. Imagine it's a lot bigger, like the size of this bed.
Okay.
You don't want to put one big piece of foam this big, otherwise there's going to be no strength in the middle.
Right.
Yeah, so you would maybe put like a window. Imagine like 4 pieces of foam, and there's like bars going down the middle.
Yeah.
So there's support down the middle.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a simple example. Obviously, it gets more complicated.
Yeah.
But it's nice that we were just literally putting foam in and like hollowing it out by intuition.
Yeah.
Because the foam carries no load, right? The foam
Yeah.
is not going to do anything.
Yeah.
And the reinforcement, and sometimes we would put we had like steel framing that we would put in to help support these frames. Like that huge thing, that 6 foot by 6 foot, that had steel supports going through it also.
Yeah.
And it was all intuitive. She looks at it and says, this probably needs some supports. And we would decide where to put the ribs. These are ribs, right? And it was nice. There was no FEA. It was just gut. Yeah. I mean, I like that stuff too. I like doing some FEA and some engineering, real engineering, but it is nice to just be able to use your gut, use a different side of your brain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're exercising it's like exercising a different muscle.
Yeah.
You're exercising your gut, your intuition,
Yeah.
as opposed to your like rational, analytical brain.
Yeah. I do value the rational side too, but I think we're very sick of it because we use it too much.
I know, we do all the time. We do it. There's no room for intuition in like fluids. Yeah. I mean, a very little amount of intuition, right? It's mostly just your analytical brain. It's tiring.
And if you even look at like who we are compared to the people who would be good at doing these engineering jobs,
our class, just the rest of our class.
The rest of our class, like. No, I don't. I'm not entire class. I think a lot of people
That's true,
are like us too who don't enjoy engineering. There are some really good people. Like my 1A roommate, my first year roommate, he was just really smart, and he was okay with just doing computer work all day. Mm-hmm. There are people like that.
My roommate's like that.
Yeah, they're there. We're not them.
They exist.
So be okay with doing all the other shit.
Exactly.